some people go into breeding Boerboels and they do not have that space that is required for them, and they just feel that is what it should be because everybody wants to breed, but that's not the idea here. If you think about owning a Boerboel, you have to think about space. If you think about owning a Boerboel, you have to think about time. So breeding or raising the Boerboel breed is really important that you have time for them, you have the space required for them. They are not dogs that should be kept in a small space. Please, that's a no for you. Hello everyone, I would like to talk to you about why owning a Boerboel may not be suitable for everyone. So first of all, as we all know, the Boerboels are really beautiful looking dog with their muscular nature. They've got this really nice head size, beautiful movements, intimidating looking, and several other things. But at the same time, there are some of the reasons why owning one may not be suitable or right for you. I hope that you get to understand the points I'm going to be making today. That way you would come to mind and decide if truly the Boerboel is for you to raise or breed. Now, one of the points I would like to talk about is their size and strength. As we all know, the Boerboels originated from the South Africa, where they are the name Boerboels are like the meaning of the name Boerboel, farm dogs. So they are raised usually in a very vast land space where they have quite enough room to roam around, exercise, run around, guarding sheep and cows and different other animals right from where they came from. So that is one of the reasons why you see them having that really muscular nature, because they have all of those time to exercise and several other things. I like to also add that you should know that the Boerboels, for the males, they weigh sometimes over 200 pounds and they can be intimidating. Yes, I know, but then this is why it is important for you to bond with your dogs. So I would say that handling a Boerboel is not for everyone, most especially elderly and children. So if you're considering getting a Boerboel, you need to consider some of these facts that I'll be mentioning here today. So for their size and strength, if you are possibly, for example, I've seen where some people walk their Boerboels on the road, on the streets and on the roads and different other areas where the Boerboels seem to be in front of them rather than be beside them. This only means that the Boerboel is in charge of you. When you see such behavior, then it simply means that the dog is actually your owner and you are not the owner of the dog. So this is what the definition is when you're walking a dog and the dog is ahead of you. And of course, I understand the strength of the Boerboel. So sometimes they can be really pulley and things like that, but that's because you haven't properly trained them or you haven't properly bonded with them to understand that they should walk side by side with you. Yeah, so that's for the size and strength. Another point I'd like to talk about here is their protective instinct. Boerboels are bred to be protective guardians of their families and properties, like I earlier mentioned. Depending on the kind of training you give them, how you want their protective nature to be, and where and what areas would you like them to be protective. They are actually built genetically with that protective instincts. But the truth is, you need to activate and encourage that instincts to work properly. So you need to train them properly and channel the areas at which you want their protective nature to be. Without adequate socialization as well and training, the Boerboels may exhibit territorial behavior, which sometimes grows into the word that people use today as aggressive. For me, I do not like to talk about or address a dog as being aggressive because I prefer to use the word reactive. As we all know, every animal has their preying instincts. So for Boerboels as well, they also have their preying instincts. So they are protective and they are reactive to very uncomfortable situations or things that may come up. They could see somebody harassing their owner, or maybe they're actually doing the resource guard. Could be their food or something. So then again, it is important that you train your dog rightly and train them the best way that they should behave and how you want them to behave. So you need to learn to model their behavior. That's another very important point for you to know. Now, exercise and space requirement for the Boerboel is actually really one very, very important key thing that you should know today. If you do not have enough space, you do not have the time to exercise your Boerboel, you do not have the space for your Boerboels to roam and be able to run around and exercise, do trainings, do different other games, tug of war, several other games to keep their minds engaging, the Boerboel is not for you. Some people go into breeding Boerboels and they do not have that space that is required for them, and they just feel that is what it should be because everybody wants to breed, but that's not the idea here. If you think about owning a Boerboel, you have to think about a space. If you think about owning a Boerboel, you have to think about time. So breeding or raising the Boerboel breed, it's really important that you have time for them, you have the space required for them. They are not dogs that should be kept in a small space. Please, that's a no for you. If you know that you fall in this category, do not bother owning a Boerboel because the Boerboel is not for you. Okay, so I'll talk about something else. So another point that you need to know as to why the Boerboel may not be the right breed for you are their health concerns. As much as every dog has got one health concerns or the other, but I'd like you to also understand that the Boerboel, being a large breed, have some health issues, which includes hip dysplasia, elbow dysplasia, bloat, and heat problems, also obesity. Because of their sizes, because of how big they can grow, they have this risk with them. When the weather is really hot for them, they have to be strategies to put in place, because of course, if you are talking about accommodating a Boerboel or keeping a Boerboel, I believe, just like I mentioned earlier, you need that time, you need the space, and you have to be available to understand them, monitor them, to be able to bond with them properly. So when they're having these health concerns, or if there are early warning signs of these health issues, like I've mentioned, if you're not available, means you do not have the time for them. And then you see people losing their dogs to bloat, heat strokes. I'm not saying that this is out of carelessness, no, but these are some of the health issues that comes with the Boerboel breed. So you should expect things like this. And if you do not have the emotional strength to lose a dog for such health reasons and issues, I will advise the Boerboel is not for you. Potential owners should be prepared for financial responsibilities. To own a Boerboel is not, to be honest, to own a Boerboel is not cheap. It's not pocket friendly at all. It's not pocket friendly at all, I must tell you. Because if you think about the size of the stomach of a Boerboel, you don't want to start feeding your Boerboel really tiny meals. You want them looking the way you see them online. You want them looking the way you want them looking that intimidating, fearful, and with all of the muscles and coats glittering and things like that. Then you should be financially strong enough to think about owning a Boerboel. So please, if you're not financially strong enough to own a Boerboel, there are other breeds that could be pocket friendly that you could own. Please, you could go for those ones. But for the Boerboel, it is not a breed that compromises with your financial strength. So please, do not own a dog. At the end of the day, the dog looks so hungry and unkept. It is not advisable, and it wouldn't be nice for you to present such a dog. Yes, or own such a dog. Another point I'd like to make here, you need to also understand some other things about the Boerboel breed. Raising them is not easy because like I mentioned earlier, requires time. You need to be really observant. You need to be able to bond with them. You need to think about the basic trainings. You need to, for the Boerboels, as much as they are really sizable and intimidating, you need to also, their temperament is one very key thing as well when raising a Boerboel. A Boerboel should be able to know when to have that protective instinct and when to display it. So for the Boerboels, if you think about the Boerboels, as intimidating as their size is, they have got good temperament, especially when the handlers or the owners connect with them rightly. So you can see a dog as big, as massive as they look, but at the same time, they are able to be assessed by little kids. That is the kind of temperament a Boerboel has. But at the same time, despite the fact that they give that room for little kids to come to them, I need you to also understand that the Boerboel breed, when they want to, when they want to get protective or reactive, it is a very difficult one to control. So before thinking about owning a Boerboel breed, you have to think about the little points I've made here today.